Okay, so this video is going to pick up where the other one left off, and we're going to cover the other 5 energy resources that haven't been discussed yet. So the first one is petroleum. It is a fossil fuel. It's made into gasoline, plastic, and other stuff. It's found underground, and it's a black, thick liquid. One of the advantages of petroleum is that it's inexpensive. Even though gasoline costs about $3 a gallon right now, compared to other energy resources, it's still fairly inexpensive. A disadvantage of petroleum is that it creates lots of pollution. The cars and the things that run on petroleum, they emit a lot of like smoke and dust into the air, which is really bad for the environment. And also, petroleum is non-renewable. So once we run out of petroleum, that's pretty much going to be it until it can kind of come back, which can take millions and millions of years. So we are using up petroleum much faster than it can replace itself. So we consider that to be non-renewable. Okay. The next energy resource is propane. Propane is also a fossil fuel, but it is stored as a liquid. You might see those tanks at like Quick Trip or the grocery store. They say like Blue Rhino. Those are tanks, and the propane is stored as a liquid. It's a fossil fuel. It's used for cooking. So usually those tanks, you hook it up to a grill, and then you can cook. And in some parts of the country, this is how they heat their houses. So they have a big tank of propane, and they set it on fire, and it heats up their house. Advantages of propane is that it creates less pollution than other fossil fuels. It still creates pollution, but not as much as like petroleum or coal. And it's portable. So you can take those tanks and move them and take them in the car with you and stuff like that. A disadvantage of propane is that, again, it's non-renewable. When we run out of propane, that's going to be it for a really long time. The next energy resource is solar energy. It's energy from the sun, and it's captured with special panels. They're usually large black panels that have glass on the top, and it captures all the energy from the sun and turns it into electricity. So the advantages of solar energy is that it's inexhaustible. This means we can never use it up completely, and it does not create pollution. So this is not harmful to the environment. The air is not affected by this at all. Disadvantages, the panels can be expensive, especially if you're only buying 1 or 2 at a time. They're pretty expensive. And also, the amount of solar energy that you receive depends on the weather. If you live in an area that's very sunny, maybe like the desert or something like that, you can get a lot of solar energy. But maybe you live in Canada, where it's cloudy and cold a lot of the time of the year, then you're not going to get as much solar energy because it's not reaching the panels. So the sun has to be out for the panels to be able to pick it up. Next is uranium. Uranium is an unstable element. It's number 92 on the periodic table. It's a very large atom, and it breaks apart really easily because it's so big. Think of it as kind of like a foil ball, right? If you have a small little foil ball, it stays together pretty well. But if you add foil and you make it even bigger ball, then the foil kind of wants to come off, and it's hard to kind of keep it all together. So uranium is kind of like that big foil ball. It likes to fall apart. And when it does, when the atom is split, it gives off energy. Sometimes uranium may also be called nuclear energy. So if you hear of a nuclear power plant or a nuclear reactor, then it's called, it uses uranium, and it's nuclear. Okay? Advantages of uranium or nuclear energy. It gives off lots of energy. So for just a little bit of uranium, when it splits, it gives off a lot of energy. So it's very efficient. It has a lot of bang for its buck. Also, it does not pollute the air. So the uranium in the nuclear power plant is good for the air because it doesn't pollute. Disadvantages of uranium. It can be deadly if there is an accident. So these don't happen very often if there's an accident at a power plant. But when they do happen, it's a big deal. So there was an accident in Japan a couple of years ago. There was an earthquake off the coast, and it made the power plant shift, and there was an accident, and some of the uranium got out. and that can cause people to get sick or die. It makes the land around where the power plant was, you can't use it for like hundreds of thousands of years because the effects of the uranium are in the ground, and then so that area is now kind of off limits for forever, pretty much. Also, it is non-renewable. So there's only so much uranium in the earth. And once we use it all up, then we won't be able to get any more. So it is considered non-renewable. And then our last energy source, number 10, is wind energy. So they have large turbines that turn when the wind blows. You've probably seen them out maybe while you're driving to another city. They're these really big, tall, white windmills, and they have 3 blades. They're really large. Sometimes you'll see the blades being delivered to the place on the back of a truck. It's kind of cool. But a large windmill, and it turns when the wind blows. And as it turns, it spins a turbine to create electricity. The advantages of wind energy is it's inexhaustible. We'll never be able to use it all up, and it does not pollute at all. So it's really good for the environment. It doesn't cause any global warming or greenhouse effect type stuff. Disadvantages of wind is that the windmills can hurt birds. So if they put the windmills in an area where birds migrate, then it can be really bad because then the birds run into the windmills, or it's in their way when they're flying. So it's not very helpful for the birds.